beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. We talk all things life, love, spirituality, law of attraction, and all of that juicy goodness. In this video, we are going to talk about spiritual, intimate connection. So what does it mean when you have this emotional intimacy with your partner and it's spiritual? We are calling in the universe and God into the middle of our connection. And people might say, like, I don't know if I have a spiritual connection with my partner. And they always think, does that mean you have to be reading spiritual texts and watching spiritual videos in order to have this intimacy? And it's not the case. Emotional intimacy is feeling fulfilled through communication, through connection, through bonding, through sharing time and space together. This is my favorite thing about partnership. This is what I desire the most, is spiritual connection. And for me, it looks like physical touch that is patient, that is slow, appreciative, sensual. And it's almost like you're touching your partner, even if it's just holding hands or rubbing their back or rubbing their chest, moving their hair to the side, just that slow movement. It can be really, really spiritual because you are appreciating how God made this person and you are savoring them, you're smelling them, you're experiencing them. And that's what's so beautiful when two people come together and they're on the same level and they are valuing the same things, they are appreciating the same things about each other. And it's just this shared spiritual, intimate connection. So one way is physical touch. Another way is what I just talked about, the emotional aspect. When you can share your opinions about any topic and it is received by this person. And for me, receiving looks like undivided attention. You're sitting across from your person and you are looking straight into their eyes and you're like, tell me more. I can't, please don't stop talking. I love hearing you talk. I can't wait to hear what you're going to say next. And that just feels so freaking good, doesn't it? When somebody else does it for you. And imagine if you get this with somebody who you have that physical passion with and that intimacy with, you have the emotional connection, you can talk about anything with them. And you can challenge them and they can challenge you, but you're respectful and honorable. And then, so we have physical, then we have emotional, and then we have mental. The mental is the challenging part. It is, are you going to grow together? Are you going to learn together? Are you guys going to share, your day with each other and say, hey, this is where I was like stretched today. I got a flat tire and I was really angry. And you're just talking about your life experience and your challenges. And you are also seeing how that is helping you grow spiritually, emotionally, physically, everything. So the mental part of the spiritual connection is, how are you being challenged? How is your mind being challenged? How are you being forced to overcome something? Whether it's anxiety and you're talking to your partner and you're saying, hey, I'm having a really anxiety-filled day, and they're just holding space for you, taking it from you, just being there to listen, and they're giving you that solid eye contact, and they don't need to find a solution for you. They are just listening. And when we have this full emotional, physical, mental connection, it is the full spiritual experience. You are feeling like they are the nectar that you've needed your whole life. And they taste good and they smell good, and they are just, when you're apart from them, it's like a drug. You just need to tap into them one more time. I always say the divine feminines are like the fountains for the masculine. We hold this water and they get thirsty and they'll come back for more. And we don't need to chase them. They will constantly come back. And ladies and feminines, anybody that holds more feminine energy, the minute you chase and you just offer yourself up to your masculine, the game's over. The part of the masculine, the genetic part of the masculine energy is they enjoy the chase. They enjoy yearning for that nectar. So as the feminine, we have to pull back. We have to sit back and receive and not chase and just say, here I am. Here's all of me. You can have all of me all at once. That's not fun for the masculine. So part of your spiritual connection, I always see it as the infinity sign. It's a beautiful flow of energy. The feminine will provide, a little signal saying like, hey, I'm open to be intimate, or I'm open for an emotional connection or communication, or I'm open to listening to you. She sends a signal to him. He sees it. He approaches. He gives whatever she's sending a signal for. She receives it. She admires him for it. And it's this beautiful flow. So that can be in regards to getting tasks done around the house. As a feminine, we kind of have to lead our masculine. We have to speak our truth and say what we need done. Like, hey, babe, can you do this for me? Can you do this by Saturday? It would make me feel so good if you could cook this meal for us tonight. I've been tired and I don't want to cook this week. Just speaking your needs. The masculine will throw on their cape like Superman, and they're like, I got you. I want to do this for you, and I want to do it well, and I want you to admire me for it. So it's understanding what your masculine needs and understanding what your feminine needs. And we all have masculine and feminine energy inside of us. So we have to understand what our own needs are, and then we have to understand what our partner's needs are. And once you figure that out, then it becomes a dance. Then it becomes an energy flow. And the spiritual connection is what keeps this fire lit. As soon as the feminine throws herself at the masculine and just gives herself to him, the fire goes out. He's like, oh, this is no fun. There's no chase. There's no like yearning for the nectar, because he can just get it whenever he wants. So we, as feminines, we have to step into that feminine energy, sit back, pull back a little bit, send a little signal every now and then of when we're yearning for them. And they have to know that they're not always going to get the signal every day. They don't know when it's going to come. And that's the cool part. And we're in control of that. We can send that signal. We can pull that signal back whenever we want. And it's not a game. This is the beautiful part of partnership, is learning the dance between you and your partner. When to pull back, when to approach, when to give, when to receive. And if you can understand this, your relationship will be really harmonious and really passionate and sexy and super, super intimate. And it will be the full spectrum. It'll be that full spiritual connection. And here are some ways you can build your spiritual connection with your partner. So remember, I talked about sharing space with them, cooking with them, cleaning with them, making it an experience, listening to music with them. Say if you or your partner loves music, or maybe you both do, really like asking your partner, what do you want to listen to? I want to listen to whatever lights you up. And you're savoring in that music with them. You're listening to the words of the song with them. You're watching them like get excited at certain parts. And it's like a spiritual thing. You're seeing how God made them, and you're appreciating how they're loving their life experience. And one of my favorite movies is City of Angels. And one of my favorite parts is she's eating a pear in that movie. And he's just like, what does it taste like? And she's like, what do you mean? And she starts to describe it. And he's just in awe with her description. It's like he wants to be in her mouth, experiencing this pear the way she is. And that's a spiritual connection between two people who are completely present in the moment, watching each other enjoy their physical experience, whether it's seeing a beautiful sunset, whether it's listening to music, tasting fruit, tasting delicious food, physical touch. And you're just so present with this person. This is a full, fulfilling partnership. It's spiritual. So for me, and what a lot of my spiritual teachers have taught me, and what I've learned in books and in stories, is if you want a long-lasting partnership, you have to have this spiritual connection. You have to make time for each other. And I'm going to give you guys 3 tips in order to build the spiritual connection. I already mentioned a couple, like listen to music, clean together, cook together. But my 3 tips are: make time each week to spend alone time together, whether it's a date, whether it's cooking together, whether it's doing something around the house together. You're making time. You're not allowing life to get into the middle of your partnership. You are only ever letting God get in the middle, and the universe, and that God and universe energy is love. And the second tip is long kisses. So there's science behind it that says, I think it's like 20 to 30-second kisses really bond two souls together. So if you can make time in your relationships to really sit there and savor in a good, juicy, delicious kiss. And if you don't have time and you're running out the door and you're like, I don't have time for a 20-second, 30-second kiss, just do like a couple little pecks. And if you ever notice when you go to peck somebody, you just can't do it once. It's like, you got to do it 3 or 4 times. It's like we're innately drawn 3 or 4 more times. And it's so beautiful, right? Like we just want to be so close to our partner. It's like we want to be in their mouth. We want to be in their body because our souls are so spiritually connected. It's that nectar that you can't wait to come home to. And for you feminines out there, I'll get to my third tip, but for you feminines out there, you have to remember that we have to be this solid, we have to be the ground for our masculine. Yes, they're the sturdy ones and they hold us down and they show up for us and they protect us and provide for us, but we have to be that ground. Have you guys ever seen, like, there's memes or Instagram videos about how men love to be the small spoon when cuddling? And then you'll look at all the comments underneath the reels and it'll be like, yes, all the guys are like, yes, I love being the small spoon. It's so nice not to always have to be the big spoon. So men need to be held. We have to hold them. We have to give them that space to be the feminine. And that's where we can give to them. So when they come home from work and they're in their masculine energy at work, they're getting tasks done, they're being told what to do, or they're giving orders, they want to come home and they don't want to have any tasks on their mind. They just want to fall into your arms and just feel this warmth and this softness, this feminine energy. They want to feel your soft hair. They want to touch your soft lip gloss filled lips. And it's an experience for them to come from this busy, like do type of day to coming home to you, and they can just be. So when they come home, what you need to do, whether you're male or female, doesn't matter about the gender. If you hold more feminine energy, this is for you. When your masculine comes home, you sit down and you give them undivided attention, eyes locked in, and you just listen to them talk, whether they want to talk about their day, whether they want to talk about something else that's on their mind. And you just intently listen. You listen so well that they get freaked out and get uncomfortable going, wow, she's really listening to me, or he's really listening to me. And they're like, I got to say something good because they're really listening. That's good. Let them get uncomfortable. Let them see your presence and how strong you are and how patient and how loving you are. And you're just holding space for them. There's nothing more beautiful than 2 human beings talking and one person just truly, truly listening with their eyes. And you're also probing them and saying, man, that must have really sucked. Are you okay? How did that make you feel? Can you tell me more about that? And if you see how I'm talking right now, it might sound like I'm talking to a child, how we would nurture our children. And I did this as a teacher for so long. I would always make sure kids felt heard in my classroom, and I would probe them with more questions to help them learn about themselves. Your masculines want that. They want the space to just unload what's been on their mind. That's the nectar that when they leave, you don't have to worry about them straying. You do not have to worry about your partner straying if you are being that nectar that they're craving. You're listening. You have the emotional connection. You are learning together. You're cooking together. You're cleaning together. You're spiritually, physically connected. That's what most men and women are craving. And this is why people cheat, is because they don't have the spiritual connection on all levels. They might have a couple connections, but it's not a deep, like, wow, I just am around her or him and I cannot get enough. That's a spiritual connection because it's on all levels. It's emotionally, it's physically, it's mentally, it's spiritually. You can talk about everything. You can work out together. You can talk about life issues together. You can talk about what's going on in the world. You can talk about your physical bodies and the ailments that you're having. You can talk about how you want to raise your kids. You can talk about maybe a business that you want to build or your creativity. You could talk about meditating. it's the full spectrum. You just feel like you're like, wow, I could do everything with this person. I can listen to music with them. I can savor food with them. I just want to watch them eat all day long. It's a full spectrum type of love. Okay, sorry, I rambled. So we have the 3 tips that I was giving you guys was long kisses. Remember, like 20 to 30 seconds, really lock in that kiss. And it builds that bond. And when they go off to work or when they're going out to do something, they're going to remember that kiss and they're going to be like, I cannot wait to come home and do that again. And then the first one, what did I say the first one was? Universe, help me remember. Oh, make time. Dating. Make time each week for that person. And then the third one is have lots of sex. And I don't mean like, 3 times a day or 5 times a week. Just make time to be intimate with each other, whether it's full-blown sex or whether it's just some touching, but make time for it. Make it like, I like to be spontaneous, not to be too TMI. I love to be flirty and to find cute ways to taunt and tease and send texts throughout the day and try to build. I like building the emotional and physical bond regarding sex, because sex for men, if you hold a lot of masculine energy, they tend to really be drawn to sex as their love language or physical touch. So feminines, how do we build that? How do we pull them in through physical touch and sex without feeling like a piece of meat? Well, what we do is we get creative. We send cute photos, not of our naked bodies, but we send cute photos of maybe our underwear, or we send cute photos, cute memes, or like meet me at lunch at, wherever. Just we entice them, we pull them in, we make them anticipate this physical bond that we're about to have that night or that afternoon. So having lots of sex is super important, because if one partner's love language is physical touch, we have to nurture that. We have to feed into that. And if your love language is emotional intimacy, which most feminines, we like to talk, we like to share, we like to have that spiritual connection before we get physical. So we also have to make that clear to our partner. But usually women feel the emotional connection first, and then they want to open themselves up and have sex. But men are the opposite. Usually men need to have sex and then they open up emotionally. So we have to find between 2 people, if it's a man and woman in a partnership, or 2 men or 2 women, you have to figure out who is who needs what, and then work with that. Provide the emotional connection first through the text messaging, provide the physical touch first, and then have a really deep conversation after you are intimate with each other. So it's learning each other's languages. So those 3 tips are huge when you're trying to build and maintain that spiritual connection: is make time for each other each week, do things together, learn together, take a class together, read a book together, listen to a podcast at the same time, the long kisses, and then have lots of sex. Because kisses have a sweetness to them. The physical touch and the sex is different from kissing. The kissing is more of that, like, I want to be present with you. I'm going to leave you feeling this way so that, you're getting a taste of me, of what you could have later. It's that enticing energy. It's not giving all of your nectar up at once, right? So, because when you're in partnership and when you're having families and you're with each other all the time, the feminines have to learn to pull back and not be so in it all the time. Because if they're so used to getting it, you're so used to kissing goodbye every morning, you're so used to having sex when the kids go to bed, you got to switch it up. You have to spice it up and do something different. And a lot of times the feminines are in charge of that. We have to lead in that spiritual connection and create spaces and create opportunities to keep that nectar and that juiciness alive. I hope you all enjoyed this video. There's so much I want to talk about with relationships and appreciating our physical experience, and really diving into the emotional and the spiritual connection that we can build with our partners. The spiritual connection is what's missing in our world. Most people are unhappy in their relationships because they're missing the full spectrum. They are settling and they're getting into partnerships where they don't have every aspect. They're not spiritually connected. And I'm here to help you learn that you need to set a boundary and say, no, I am going to set a high standard for what I want. And this is what I want to experience in my life. I want the full spiritual connection. I want to feel fulfilled. I don't want to worry that I'm going to get in a partnership and need to cheat or need to stray or always be looking at other women. I want to know, for me as a feminine, that my man knows that his fountain, when he gets thirsty, he knows where to come. He knows to come to me to quench his thirst. He doesn't need to go to other women, because it's going to be a drought out there. He's not going to feel fulfilled as much as he would with me, because I can hit every spot on that spectrum, and you can too. And you first have to love yourself in order to understand that and to really own that. All right, lovies, I hope you enjoyed this. I love doing these lessons. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.